Hey guys, very good morning to all of you. I hope I am audible loud and clear, and you guys can also see the screen that says measuring campaign ROI. Good morning, Shanu, and how are others doing? Well, we started a bit late because the attendance was quite short at 10 a.m. Good to see about 10 people joining in. I can see a couple of more people attempting to join. So good. In the last session, guys, if you remember, we spoke in the first half, we learned about goals. If you remember, we spoke about uh, macro and micro goals. We set up a destination goal. And in the second half, we spoke about reports. In fact, if you remember, let me directly jump into the analytics dashboard. If you remember, here we spoke about those tabs on the left hand side, including audience. In fact, we did quite a lot of audience. We didn't do much beyond it. Today, we are going to talk in detail about acquisition and about conversions. Behavior is quite easy, so we're going to spend about 15 minutes. It's a small tab, hardly have about 4 to 5 reports. But acquisition and conversions are the takeaways of today's session. And of course, let me remind you, today is the last session of the web analytics workshop. Well, officially, but I tell you that the learning has just begun. In fact, just last month, one of the batch decided to catch up in Bangalore, and I was a part of that. So I would like to tell you that this is an amazing feeling when you actually meet face to face. So the learning continues online or in physical meetings, and this industry of digital marketing is quite small. There are not many, there are not lakhs of people in the industry. So whether you're working in an organization or you're looking for a job or you're a student, we are bound to bump into each other one day or the other. So whenever we meet, say hello. And yeah, so hopefully we'll catch up face to face. But today is officially the last session, and I'm hoping that by the end of the day or end of this session, we will have good clarity and we would have done a consolidation of what we have learned in the last 4 sessions, in the last 15 minutes of today's session. It will also help us assimilate various things that we have been talking about since last 4 Sundays, I mean last 3 Sundays and today. Now today I would want your attention on this topic, campaign ROI. It is very, very interesting. It is something that we've always seen how analysts run campaigns and measure the performance in terms of engagement, performance in terms of monetary returns. Today is the time where we're going to talk about how can we do it from today onwards. If you learn this today, then I think most of the other things will start looking like that we have already grasped an amazing understanding on other topics. So let's begin the session. These campaigns are also a way to learn the acquisition tab here. So this acquisition tab on the left hand side shows you how are we acquiring users on our website. So if you look at this, how many people are coming from direct, social, organic, etc., etc., and not only that, from which particular source are we getting the maximum money? Where are people converting most? What is the engagement at each level, and so on and so forth. Now, this is just basics, and it's easy to learn this just by looking at this chart. But let's look at it from a campaign perspective. Because if we understand this, I think the entire web analytics dashboard will become way too simple for you to feel complicated about. All right. So today, let's understand how Google Analytics collects information about traffic sources. And what is a source we'll talk about today. And how do we use UTM parameters? Is there anyone in the session who knows how to use UTM parameters or has heard of this before? Anybody who knows what UTM parameters are or have been using it in digital marketing? Okay, looks like none. So this is an opportunity for all of us to make a difference in the marketing team post this session. And I tell you, all of you will feel empowered. Now let's start with running a campaign. We all run campaigns, or if we haven't ever run campaigns, I'm sure sooner or later in our team, these campaigns are great source of revenue and excitement in the team. So here in front of you is a campaign life cycle, which is quite logical and obvious. Before you start a campaign, you must have a message that you want to communicate, isn't it? Whether it is Swachh Bharat campaign, or whether it is end of reason sale by Mintra, or whether it is Big Billion Day sale or Save the Tiger campaign, you have to have a message, a simple to understand message, not beyond a statement that people can quickly grasp. If you don't have a clear message, your campaign money is going to go waste. The second step, okay, first step is something I believe everybody in your own company would have a message, right? In the second step, you have to design an outreach plan, which basically means how will you reach out to the customers with the message that you want to communicate, or how will you communicate the message to your potential users? You will have various available sources and mediums. And in this session, we are not limiting it to digital marketing. Let's say you want to have your message. Let's say you're running 10% off on your real estate. Let's say your 3 BHK in New Delhi that you've launched a new project and giving 10% off. So of course you will put highway hoardings all across the city, right? So that is one of your outreach plan. And then we have a beautiful constraint, which is money. So how much will we spend on each of these channels? What percentage of my limited money will I spend on social media, print ad, newspaper ads, or SEO, or even highway hoardings? Then we will measure the income or the revenue. The delta between the two will tell us returns on our investments. And once we know the returns on our investments, maybe some of the channels are giving good returns, some of them are not giving such good returns as others. So therefore, you will optimize your budget, you will reallocate your budget into those areas which you feel are working well. Isn't it simple? Too theoretical. Let's do it in practice. All right. So right now in front of you, let's say the campaign message is 10% off on something. I mean, whatever products you're selling, that's your message. Maybe Diwali offer is around the corner, or Valentine's offer, or whatever offer you're running. And here is an example outreach plan. Now pay attention here. Let's say it's a new year offer running. You're giving some discount. And you've designed your landing page as, let's say, yourwebsite.com/new year offer, or any of that landing page where the list of offers have been populated. You have decided to spend money on social media, email marketing, and banner ads. All right. So why not any more? We are just saying if we understand these three, it's easy to understand other things as well. Under social media, you thought that LinkedIn probably is not the right platform as per your gut feel for your product. You spend money, or you do your advertisements on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, send an email on 31st December, then on the 1st of January, and people who have missed the offer can still avail until 15th of January, so you keep sending emails. You purchase some good advertisement space on your favorite websites, or you believe where your users go. You have a jacket banner, you have a left banner, you have in article advertisement, and so on and so forth. Now you may ask that within Facebook I can have multiple ads, right? So you can have a ad targeted towards females, ad targeted towards males, ad targeted towards uh, kids or elderly, and even further uh, bifurcation is possible. To have a fundamental understanding, let's just stick to this outreach plan. Once we understand this, we will have the ability to expand these outreach plan how much ever possible, horizontally or vertically. Just keep a few things in mind. The first level, your campaign message. The vocabulary that Google Analytics uses is also called as campaign name. The second level in the hierarchy is called campaign medium, also called as campaign channel. The third level of hierarchy is called campaign sources. So I repeat, campaign name, campaign medium, and campaign source. Source is that particular digital property or that website where people will see your ad and click on it to come on your website. Campaign medium is how did the person come to your website, the medium. And campaign name is for what purpose have they come on your site, what attracted them in that ad. So keep these three terms in mind. So I'm going to repeat them multiple times over to internalize them, because these are the words which almost every tool is going to use, no matter whether you use Google Analytics or any other thing. So now next comes is budget allocation. Step number 3, not only now you have a budget, you have outreach plan, you have a constraint, let's say, of $10,000. So based on your gut feel, you have put 5,000 in social media because you thought social media is worth spending that much. Email is 3,000, banner ads is 2,000. And similarly, out of 5,000 that you had in social media, you've given 3,000 to Facebook, 1,000 to Twitter, and so on and so forth. Each particular source has some budget at hand. Now, when I say gut feel, according to my gut feel, according to my experience, I thought social media is good, so let's spend more. I mean, what kind of a science is that? Most of my clients ask me and question me here, Satyam, how do you know that this is the best budget allocation? What if social media is not a great platform for us? What if email could have worked better? And by the time we will have any results, we would have wasted all of this money and said, hey man, social media did not work. So on what science or on what grounds are you doing this budget allocation? Are you reading some industry best practices? Or have you tried this before? Or is there some expert in the market who's recommending how much to be spent in which particular source or medium? Now, to that, my question is, or my response to that question is, if you so much want to believe in best practices and white papers and those case studies out there, then why do you need an analyst? The way analysts work, I don't know whether you've heard of these terms before, which is called hypothesis. The way analysts work is that they put forward a hypothesis and then they prove it wrong to emerge with a new hypothesis, and then they prove it wrong again, and they keep on doing this until they find a hypothesis which is proved correct. Have you done this in your 10th standard mathematics or maybe 11th standard, where you put forward a hypothesis and you prove it right or wrong? So I am saying that this budget allocation on your screen right now is a hypothesis that this is the best budget allocation. I will design a campaign such that there is an inbuilt ability of this model that it will automatically optimize its budget according to the hypothesis being proved or right or wrong. So if, let's say, according to this budget allocation, 5,000 to social media is not an appropriate budget to be given to social media, then the feedback loop finishes so quickly that by the time you would have spent about $15–20 on social media, you would know how social media is performing as opposed to email and banner ads, and you will quickly re-optimize the budget and you will test that hypothesis. Yes, Aditya, hit and trial method is the method. It is the most natural method for anything to work, whether it's relationships or whether it is passing your exams or whether it is business. See, I'll tell you why, Aditya. I was reading this white paper by a very famous organization. Okay, let me tell the name of that organization. It's very respected though, but did not do a very good job in that white paper. The name is BCG, Boston Consultancy Group. It publishes a lot of white papers. There was one paper in 2014 that I was reading, so long back, 4 years back, that talked about industry-wise budget allocation to social platforms. So there was this automobile industry, FMCG industry, real estate industry, publishing, e-commerce. So every industry had about big chapter of 10 pages each. And there were recommendations on if you have a digital marketing budget, what percentage of it should go where. It was a very nice case study to read, but I found something fishy in it. Almost every alternate page that I was reading had a big mention of LinkedIn. Like 100 times in the book, they were mentioning LinkedIn. I did a little bit of Googling and I found out that paper is sponsored by LinkedIn. So you do not want to base your hard earned money of your business, if not yours, into reading such white papers where such reputed organizations, you can't believe in those papers anymore. So hit and trial will work better than these. The reason being that your product, even if you belong, if even if you're reading an honest case study from your competitors, that they are the same industry, so you should follow them the best or most closely. But sometimes, not sometimes, I would say, look at it this way that your customers are different from your competitors' customers. They will behave differently on your site and on social media platforms. Your products may be a little different. Your positioning may be a little different. So don't believe in case studies. Build your own. And that happens with when you experiment on your own rather than believing in some numbers. And otherwise, you now have this beautiful method of budget allocation, which is start by hypothesis and then prove it wrong to find the most appropriate one. I tell you, if your budget is about $10,000 or 10,000 rupees, you will not spend more than $500 in finding out which is the best budget allocation, or what is the best budget allocation. You would waste $500, which is okay, which is not a complete waste, but your next 9,500 will go most appropriately divided into these. I'll tell you how. So Rajesh, that's what I'm talking about right now. Who will decide the ratio of this allocation? We will decide as marketers. Based on what? Based on our feeling, based on our experience, based on how good our mood is, based on how much we like social media versus email versus banner ads. I am just saying it's a hypothetical hypothesis. That's how you would decide it. But that's only the step one. The step two quickly is that you will learn from this experiment and you will quickly reallocate this budget. So for now, Rajesh, until the next 1 hour of your life, I want your time where let's go ahead with this particular budget allocation. Within 1 hour, you will understand how do we reallocate it and on what basis. All right, are you with me? Okay, cool. So while budget allocation is so simple that it is just based on our gut feel, though so it is easy, right? It's not very difficult. But what is difficult is measuring returns on these. Now let's say we have a magic box, and this magic box can tell us almost anything that we wish to know about this campaign. So I asked this magic box, let's say, what is going to be, or in real time, what is the returns on my campaign level investments? And a number comes out. It says $20,000. Now, this is also not that difficult number to find out. And sometimes these digital marketing agencies that you hire, they sometimes make up this number, sometimes they actually realize this number. But officially, this is also calculated as the delta between your income before the campaign and after the campaign. It's not a 100% accurate number, but let's say this magic box knows how to calculate it accurately. Now, the moment you look at it as a $20,000 return, you pat yourself on the back, feel great about the 100% returns you got, and take your team out for party tonight, right? Or let's say even if you've made losses at this level, you can't do anything about it because campaign is over. You've lost the money. Now, we don't want to be one of those marketers who stop here. We have a magic box. So let's go ahead and ask another question to magic box. What are my medium level investments or campaign medium level investments? And numbers come out like this. Social media gave you significantly good returns. Email could not really pay for itself also. And banner ads hardly paid for itself. And then you start to wonder that hey, 20,000 went looked like amazing returns, but if I had known email marketing is not going to perform, I could have saved this $3,000 that went into email marketing. But that's okay. Now let's ask another question on what is my source level investments, returns, and numbers come out like this. So while you were thinking that social media is an amazing platform, Twitter was loss making. It's only Facebook that gave you large returns. And while you were thinking email marketing is not a good platform, email is not working for you, post New Year campaign gave you 100% returns. Now imagine only if you had this information real time, you could have taken the decision so much better. Or let's look at it, let me hide everything else. Look at the ROI at the campaign level, 100%. Look at Facebook level, it's 300%, which is so much more. Imagine if you had this information earlier or much ahead in time by spending a little money here and there instead of spending all your money like this. You could have invested $10,000, all of it in Facebook, and you could have gotten $40,000 returns and you were happy with just half of it. This is what we need to assert. Because the moment we start getting those green color and red color numbers, you will start optimizing your campaign. Putting your black color numbers, in this case your investment, is easy. It's your money, it's your credit card. Just type in OTP and your budget will be allocated. But this magic box, which is Google Analytics, will help you arrive at that green color and red color numbers in real time as you run the campaign, so that you can pause the campaign when it is not working and reallocate that money into uh, some other channel which is working. Now let's start this journey of finding these numbers out. But before that, we need to understand, again, I repeat, the difference between source and medium. If somebody types in a keyword in Google search, clicks on an organic result to come to your website, in such a case, the source will be the name of the website where people are coming from, in this case, Google. The medium will be how did people come to your website, in this case, organic. Now, by default, Google Analytics or the software or this tool does a brilliant job in identifying where people are coming from, if they are coming from organic, referral, and direct channels. So let me talk about it for a while. If somebody is coming from Yahoo, Bing, or Google, your Google Analytics platform will tell you that they are coming from these three. They also will tell you at what moment they come, at what time did they come, for how long did they spend, and did they buy anything on the website or not. Automatically, you don't have to do anything. The tool is designed such. If somebody is coming from a referral means that if if let's say Aditya has a blog, and in his blog he has mentioned about Rajesh and given a hyperlink to Rajesh's website. So if Aditya's blog readers click on that hyperlink to go on to Rajesh's website, it's called a referral traffic. So if somebody is coming from a referral website, then the name of the website, in this case aditya.com, will be shown that from which particular website have the users come, and the channel or medium will be referral. If somebody comes in by typing in the URL in the browser and hitting enter, they're called direct. Or if somebody clicks on a bookmark within the browser, they are also called as direct users. Now, Google Analytics will identify very accurately people coming from these three sources and mediums. Now, Marine says, can platform identify using Safari or other browsers? Yes, Marine. So if people are coming from these three, not only you will know the browser name, you will know the browser version also, you will know the browser, you will know the operating system also, you will know the device also, you will know many things that you can't even imagine right now. Even the screen resolution will be shown. That much detail will be shown to you. But what happens when a person comes from other mediums, for example, email, display ad, or social media, or even you're sending an SMS these days in smartphones where hyperlinks are going along, and people click on within the SMS and come onto your website? Will Google Analytics not recognize that these users are coming from these platforms? The answer is no. Google Analytics will not be able to identify if people are coming from social, email, and display. They will, the tool tries its best that people are coming from social media, and if social media, which particular which particular website, and all of that, but it is not as accurate, and therefore wherever possible it will identify. Otherwise, if not possible, or if not accurate, it will put the user in the category called others, that people are coming from other sources. So if Google Analytics cannot identify where people are coming from, then how in the world can it tell me the revenue for coming from that particular platform? If you can't even identify the platform, forget about the revenue identification. And therefore, Google Analytics offers a little bit of tweaking in the platform, which is called as link tagging or URL tagging. Now, this is a technique that today we are learning. Once we understand this, we can identify not only the source and mediums of the users, but also whether they are buying anything or not on the site. So what is link tagging? It's very interesting. Now, let's say if you are sending a email newsletter to your 1 million subscribers, and in between the newsletter you have a hyperlink that says click here to get 10% off this new year, or whatever campaign that you are running. Now, as described, Google Analytics will not even know that this person has come on the website. It will say some people have come from other sources. In order to avoid that, we use tags. Now, what is a tag? I'm sure if you guys have ever traveled in flight, they usually attach a tag to your luggage. Whether it is your check-in luggage or your hand luggage or wherever, they just stick something on your bag, or they tie something on your bag where your name is written, your destination, your from airport is written, and there are many things, your boarding pass number and everything else. It's a piece of paper with something printed on it. In fact, you can write more things on it with your pen. It's a physical piece of paper. And why do they do it? Because in case your luggage is lost in between these lakhs of bags that are traveling from one airport to other, one can identify that whom does this bag belong to. So imagine the same tag but the digital version of it. So that when people click on this, the tags will pass on the information to Google Analytics that when people click on it, that they have come from email marketing, and there are various things that you can write inside the tag. Just like you can write many things inside that physical tag at the airport, you can write these 5 things at in a digital tag. The 3 things we've already discussed: source, medium, and name. Forget about these two for about 20 minutes. We'll do it later. So if somebody in this case is coming from an email marketing campaign, then your campaign name, if you remember, is New Year offer, medium is email, and source is New Year's Eve. See, we don't have to apply much of our brains here because of what we made here. New Year offer was our campaign name, email was our medium, and New Year's Eve was one of the emails that we sent. So therefore, if we attach a tag like this, we will just copy paste the same thing here, New Year's Eve, email, and New Year offer, to a regular URL that we are going to send in the email. Now, how do you create this tag? These are just words. How do you add these tags to these URLs? Very simple. You use a tool called Campaign URL Builder. It is a free tool. All you have to do is write the name of the URL, which is your landing page URL, and then write source, medium, and name. It'll immediately throw to you a long, ugly looking URL, which has the casual URL as it is, which the user can anyways go to directly. After that, there is a question mark, and then there are 3 parameters: UTM source equal to New Year's Eve, UTM campaign equal to New Year offer, and UTM medium equal to email. Now, I think you are already connecting the dots. I'm sure you would have seen these ugly looking long URLs when you click on an ad or a campaign on Facebook or even your emails. They're such a long URLs that you often ignore them and then start focusing on the web page. This is how they create it. So now, what we should do, so even if you haven't gotten anything in the last 15-20 minutes that I spoke about, let me do everything again in practice. All right, so please pay attention on how campaign tags can be created before running a campaign. All right, so I go to this website where, let's say, I wanted to promote this program called Travelership. If you remember, this was the goal that we created. This is the URL of which let me create a new campaign. Let me go to Facebook now. So this particular website also has a Facebook fan page. So I go to the Facebook fan page and I create a new post and I say, hey travelers, book your seat now, or whatever. I mean, you can write whatever good call to action you want to write. And then paste this URL here. So let me copy this and paste it here. And as most of you may already know, whenever you paste a URL in the Facebook status update box, it automatically embeds the URL and creates a carousel or something which is more appropriate, and then you can publish it. Not only publish it, you can boost this post for, let's say, whatever money you have. You can boost it for 3,000 rupees because your budget was how much? Let me go back and see. With Facebook, your budget was $3,000. So it's completely up to you whether you want to do all 3,000 rupee promotion in one update, or maybe you want to do 10 updates with 300 each. Completely up to you. I'm not going to set the budget now because then it will go live. So let's say you publish this. Now, the moment you publish this, this particular update will start appearing on the timeline. And as more and more people start liking it, the promotion will spread. But hang on. We just saw that Google Analytics will fail analyzing those people who will come on the website by clicking here, because Google Analytics does not understand Facebook as a source. So therefore, we will not run this campaign. So let me refresh it. We cannot use this URL directly on Facebook. Therefore, let me add tags to this URL. How do I add tags to the URL? Let me go to a new tool called Google URL Builder. So when I go here, let me click on the first thing that comes. This is the tool, Google URL Builder. Let me create a tagged URL. So I copy this and I paste it here because this is my landing page URL of my website where I want my users or people who see my ad, they click on it to come to my that particular page. The source in this case is Facebook. Remember, source is the name of the website where people will see your ad. Medium is social media. And my campaign name is, let's say, what is my campaign name? Uh, let's call it New Year offer. All right. Or let me just call it NYO to keep it simple. The moment I write all three things, look at this long URL that automatically was thrown at me, which has the casual URL as it is. After that, there is a question mark, and then it says UTM source equal to Facebook, UTM medium equal to social, and campaign equal to New Year offer. Now, when I run a campaign on Facebook, I will use this URL. All right. So I go back on Facebook and I write here again, whatever you may want to write, a good call to action. And then you will embed this long URL instead of the short one, and it will again create the same carousel. You can then delete the entire thing because it has already been embedded. It is such a long URL that may look like spam to your users. And then you scroll down and publish it. Instead of the normal URL, now you are using the long URL. Now when people will start clicking on it, they will actually come on this long URL. Say I just clicked on the ad. It again took me to this page, but this time it shows source is Facebook, medium equal to social, campaign equal to New Year's offer. Now when this URL opens, these UTM parameters, Facebook, social, and New Year offer, will go to Google Analytics dashboard and will give you reports accordingly. Rajesh says, no, what happens when you delete the URL again? Okay. So Rajesh, what happened was I created this Facebook update, let's say, and I embedded the URL. I deleted it because such a long URL, when the user will see, it will feel like there's a spam or such long URLs people don't like to click. But when you paste it in social media in your Facebook account or in Facebook status update box, the link is automatically embedded here. You can delete the URL later. So what I'm saying is if when I publish it, people will start clicking on it and then they will directly go to this page. Let's say now I'm a user, I clicked on the ad, I came here. Now Rajesh, if as a user, I purchase a product, if I spend 5 minutes on the site, if my bounce rate is there, or if I do anything on the website from here onwards, everything will be accounted and credited to Facebook because I have come from Facebook. If I now purchase a product worth $100, we will eventually in the backend reports see that a Facebook user has given us that $100 revenue. So Sami is asking a very nice question. Is there any option of linking Facebook with Google account, which in turn links the Google Analytics account? Sami, that's the beauty. You don't have to do all of that. All you have to do is just create a URL like this, provided that you have already implemented Google Analytics in your website. That's all you need to do. Facebook doesn't need to be linked to Google. Facebook is a third-party platform. All you need to ensure is that you're using a particularly designed URL. That's it. Your Google Analytics will take care of the rest. There is no integration required. Let me give you another example to make it simple. Now let's say I am running the same campaign on Twitter. So what will I do? I will go back to the same URL builder. My website landing page URL is the same. My source will now become Twitter. My medium remains social, campaign remains New Year offer. This new URL has come now with source equal to Twitter here. Now for Twitter, it is such a long URL. I can shorten the URL by clicking here, convert URL to short link. When I click here, it gives me this tiny little URL. So I will copy this and I now run a campaign on Twitter. So let's say this is my Twitter account, my company account, and I say, hey guys, blah blah, whatever you want to write. I mean, you guys are marketers, you would know what is a good copy. And here I will just use this tiny URL and I will tweet. Now, when people will click on this URL as a user, they will actually come on this URL, which will redirect them to a tagged URL where source is equal to Twitter, medium equal to social. And after that, my Google Analytics knows that this particular user has come from Twitter. And if I buy anything at this time on my website, or if I spend some time, it will all be credited towards Twitter. This is just a small example. I am going to go into details in some time now, but let me finish the one full cycle. Now let's look at the reports. Let me go to analytics. Under acquisition, all of this report should start showing up, right? I click on acquisition, click on campaigns, and click on all campaigns. Now look at this. Let me select a large date. Let me select one full year. Now look at this. These are those users. If you look at this trend chart, number of users, those users who have ever clicked on any campaign ad and come on my site. What all campaigns have been running? So look at this New Year offer. 22 users I have attracted through this, out of which 12 were new, 10 were repeat. These 22 users created 35 sessions. The bounce rate was 60%. They were not very engaging. Only 55 seconds was spent on the site. But 9 of them actually purchased. I made $900 from this campaign. Isn't that amazing? So this is my first green color number. For example, let me go back to that sheet now. So I saw that the campaign level I made $220,000 here. It shows $900 you've made through New Year offer. But hey, I wanted to know medium level returns and source level returns. I click on New Year offer, then I go deeper and I find out from Facebook social media, 12 of them came and 8 of them purchased. $800 only came from Facebook. And then there is a print ad. So we'll talk about how did we link digital to offline in some time. But imagine a Twitter showing here, imagine a YouTube showing here, imagine LinkedIn showing here with exact details of how many sales have we done from each of these sources and mediums. And that is what will help us define the returns on our social media, email, and other investments. Now, before I complete the whole cycle, looks like it is very complicated, isn't it? So now let's see, are we the only ones who are promoting this, or should we be doing this, or are there other marketers doing the same thing? Is there anyone else out there in the world who was using the same campaign tags? Let's check. All right. So now let me go to my Facebook timeline and just click on some ads. Guys, please ignore my personal this thing. I'm just looking for some ads where to click on. Okay, look at this cure.fit. It's a sponsored ad. it says get fit and whatever, and it also has some carousel. That means they have embedded some link into this, right? That's why they're showing these images. And because it is sponsored, so CureFit is basically paying to Facebook for this ad to be appearing on my timeline. Now, if they are using the right marketing skills and right marketing tools, then they should be using campaign tags. If they are not using it, we will know in a while, then they are not good marketing team. Okay, so let me click. Guys, now look at the URL. The actual URL finishes just here, curefit/mind. Look at this, UTM source equal to Facebook, UTM medium equal to something, and UTM campaign equal to payday. So they have created their own names, but they are using campaign tags, because without this, how will they know the impact of the ad? And let's say if I go down and I say book 2 classes, or if I sign up for any of their centers and I pay them whatever 6,000 rupees, what they're asking for as an annual subscription, then they will understand that a Facebook is giving them sales. A Facebook user has come and bought. Let's click on some other ad, maybe their exception. Surprising, I'm not seeing ads today. Okay, look at this, analog property consultants. Okay, but this is a in Facebook ad. Okay, look at this. On the right hand side, there is this thing called Intro to SQL, free online course at datacamp.com. Right? So let me click, let's see what happens. Guys, these guys are also using tags. Look at this UTM, you go to Facebook source, UTM ID, and they are doing in fact a little extra. So we'll talk about that. Or let's go to some other ad. Let's go to moneycontrol.com. Usually these websites are also filled with ads. All right, so let me scroll down. What is this? It says supporting mutual fund distribution operators with a comprehensive front and back end office solutions, Dion. So this is some ad. Let me click here. Let's see what happens. UTM source equal to money control, medium equal to banner, campaign equal to MF or mutual fund. See this Dion as a company, I don't even know what this company is, but they are paying to moneycontrol.com to put their banner ad, right? If they had not done this tagging, how would they even know the number of clicks that they are getting from this ad? So we have clicked on some 3-4 ads or 3 ads, almost all of them are using it. So guys, let me do a quick recap of what we have done until now, and then I will open the house for questions. We are just completing about 1 hour of our session, and we are just about to finish, maybe another 15-20 minutes. We will consolidate what campaign tags can do for us. All right, so this is where we started. Let's say we wanted to run a campaign on one of these pages where we are selling some product, where we are saying that book your seat now and pay us that money. Now here, this campaign URL or this particular landing page, if people are coming from organic, referral, or even direct, Google Analytics will easily be able to identify where people are coming from and also categorize them, and if there are any sales coming from these three. But if we are running a campaign on email, social media, or any third-party website or anything else, we would like to know, or even SMSs, we would like to know whether people are coming from which particular source. To do that, we will add tags to this URL. How do we add tags to the URL? We take this, we copy it, and we go to a tool called Campaign URL Builder. Here, what do we do? The first thing that comes, we click on it. It shows Google Analytics demos and tools. Then this is the landing page URL. We paste it here. Let's say the campaign name is New Year offer. Campaign medium is, let's say, mobile, and my campaign source is SMS. And I'm sending this SMS to uh, iPhone users. I have a detailed list of people who are using iPhone, and I'm sending an SMS to them. Now, this is the URL that I can append in my SMS. So this is a long URL. SMS will not have that much space. I will shorten it. And then I will create an SMS around it. So my SMS will have a message that will say, dear customer, click here to get 10% off on our new product uh, called something. And when people will click on this SMS to come on our website within the phone, we will know that this person is an iPhone customer and is coming from an SMS hyperlink that we have sent to the person. So it is again digital, it's not physical yet. Now, when people will start coming on this URL from within their phones, or let me do another experiment here so that we can all practice. My campaign source will become chat window. My medium will become digital with their Sunday class, and my campaign is becoming, uh, let's say, Sami campaign, or uh, let's say DV, digital Vidya. Now this is the URL that I've just created. I will shorten it and I will paste it in the chat window. I want all of you to click on it because I'm reaching out to you as a customer now to buy my product. Okay, don't buy. I'm just saying this is a test of the URL. Now, as more and more people will start coming on the website, this is how the reports will look like in the backend. So let me just go to real-time overview to see how many people of you have clicked on the URL. 5 of you have clicked on it. 1 of you have come from mobile, and you are on the travelership page. So I now go to traffic sources and see this. The medium you guys are coming from is Digital Vidya Sunday, and the source is chat window. So I can real time understand the source and medium of people, where they're coming from. And as and when you will start purchasing any product on my website, I can go to acquisition, campaigns, all campaigns. Just select today's date to see whether data has started coming. Oh yes. So it shows 1 of you have come, or maybe data will take about 4 hours to show up here. Okay, this is only my report. In about few hours, or maybe hardly half an hour, we will start seeing people are coming from chat window. And if you guys purchase anything, you will start showing a dollar value here to me. So this was the recap of whatever we have done until now. Any questions until now? I hope in last 1 hour, everybody understands the meaning of UTM parameters or UTM tags or link tagging. They're all the same thing. So from next time onwards or from Monday onwards, please start using it. How do you use it? I will give you some examples, some more examples. So hang on. I'm just pausing the screen for 30 seconds. Let me search for more examples. Okay. So I have just moved the screen to my own inbox. I was just checking one of the emails, promotional emails that Carrot Lane is sending me. So what is Carrot Lane? Carrot Lane is a jewelry website. It's an e-commerce site, Tanishq partner. So I was just looking at one of these emails, get Diwali ready, or let's click on the latest email that says they're a total knockout. Okay, let's see what this email talks about. Knockout earrings. Okay. So there are various call to actions. You look at how long the email is, right? Here they're talking about minimalistic and classic, starting from 33,000 rupees. Then there is the thing called statement and spectacular. Then the category is bold and trendy. And then it says take 1,000 rupees off, buy now, pay at ease, twice as beautiful, and there are many call to actions. Why have I just opened this email for you? Because if you remember, we spoke about campaign tags can hold 5 things: source, medium, name. Campaign term and content we said we will do after a while. So where is the campaign term and content used? Just wanted to share that. So in this case, let's say if within one email there are multiple call to actions or multiple hyperlinks, how do you differentiate between those actions? Or to simplify it, if there are multiple ads within the same source. For example, in this case, my campaign name will still remain the same, medium will also remain the same, source will also remain the same, and within the same email, let's say I have got 5 call to actions. So now I will write some call to actions like beauty and bold, whatever that was, or we can use spectacular, or we can use something else. It is used, campaign content is used to differentiate ads within the same source. So let's click on it. In fact, let's click on all of these one by one. I click on minimalistic and classic. Look at the URL. UTM source equal to internal mailer, medium equal to mailer, content equal to studded earrings. They've named it something. Then I scroll down. I click here. Content equal to 5 studded earrings, 50k. Here it was 2 studded earrings, 50k. So they are differentiating between UTM content. Let me click here. 9. So it's number 9, which is under 30k. Let me click here. Okay, this is a completely different this thing. They're completely taking to a new page, so maybe the URLs will be completely different. Now look at these. These 3 call to actions are basically same URLs, but the content is different. So what does it even mean? Let me go to a whiteboard. It means that if you're running a campaign with the campaign name as New Year offer, campaign medium as email, or even Facebook or whatever social media, campaign source is still, let's say, New Year's Eve. Within that one email, you are sending multiple call to actions. Therefore, you will start using content. And here, what they have used is 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can also use, let's say, I am selling. Uh, I am sending an email with 5 different mobile phones. One will be Samsung, the other will be Redmi, the other will be iPhone, and I'm giving some offers. So therefore, what we will do, we will go to this campaign URL builder. We will start using the word campaign content here. For example, I will write Samsung, and this will be added in the UTM parameters. And if there is a Samsung phone in my email, then I will embed this URL behind that Samsung image. That's all, so that I know that I have attracted a click on the Samsung phone. Eventually, we will know which particular product is getting most clicks. And therefore, we will also know whether it is a time to change the model, because that particular model is not attracting right or many clicks as opposed to others. So maybe change the pose of the model, maybe change the product the model is posing with, change the shirt the model is wearing, and try all of those things that you want to do in a single email. That is why campaign content is used. Let me give you another example. So one of my client, a non-profit organization, They mentioned, okay, this is very exciting, guys. This is very, very exciting. They mentioned that Satyam, we don't have any marketing budget. Now that's a non-profit organization. They don't spend much, but they have a Facebook fan page. And because it's a non-profit organization, a lot of people donate. It's a very emotional organization. When they post a Facebook update every day at 10 a.m., there are thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, and people click on those hyperlinks. So they say, Satyam, we don't spend any money on marketing. It is all organic. So should we use campaign tagging? So we said, let's try out. Maybe there is some relevant input we will get from campaign tagging. So we started tagging all the URLs that they were posting on Facebook, where the campaign name we put as regular. Campaign medium we called as social. Campaign source we called as Facebook. And we started using campaign content also. In the campaign content, initially, before we even knew how to use it, we started using the days on which updates were made. Monday, Tuesday, and until Sunday. While these things remain the same, we were using a URL. So the URL for such, you know how to create. You will just start using the word Monday, Tuesday here. That's all. So such URLs were used, and we started observing the results. Now, an amazing insight that came after doing campaign tagging, which we did not know before we did this, and we were all surprised by looking at these facts, is that Mondays and Tuesdays are the best days to ask for donations. So by showing the right kind of an image, people feel that they need to donate. But on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we get the least amount of donations, probably because it's a weekend and people want to spend on themselves. And Monday and Tuesday, because they're already not feeling great, it's Monday blue, they want to feel good by donating. So if we are asking for donations, Monday and Tuesday are the best days to ask for large donations. If we are asking for volunteers, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the best days to ask for volunteers, and Wednesday and Thursday is just information sharing days. Before we did this campaign, we thought, we had an assumption that people need to feel good and only then they will donate. So therefore, we used to give them nice information about how good this NGO is performing. They should feel good about the company they are donating for. And we usually used to send it on Saturdays and Sundays because they're free time. They're not in office. By doing this analysis, we completely flipped the model and we understood that it not necessarily is going to be donation coming from those people who are feeling good. They may be coming from those people who want to feel good. Rajesh is saying bit confused about tagging here. Tagging days in the URL. Okay, Rajesh, I will completely revisit it. So in this case, let's say you are an NGO, Rajesh, and you are collecting donations and a lot of volunteers want to come and help you. You're a large organization of 10,000 people, but you have zero marketing budget. Let's say this is the URL where people can donate money. The source is Facebook. Medium is social media. We just named it regular because we had no campaign running. And I started writing campaign content as Monday. To repeat, campaign content is used to differentiate multiple ads on the same source. So while I am putting 7 different ads on Facebook or 7 different updates on Facebook, how will I differentiate between those ads? I am differentiating them on the basis of what days am I posting those ads on. Now this particular URL I started posting on Mondays, then I changed the URL on Tuesday. This URL I posted on Tuesday. This URL I posted on Friday. So therefore, when people started clicking on these URLs, so on Friday, this is the URL I used. On Monday, I used something else. In the backend reports, we started seeing monetary transactions on Mondays and Tuesdays, because people want to feel good on Mondays and Tuesdays giving by giving more money, because they're probably going through Monday blues and they're not really liking what they're doing. On Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can't ask them money because they want to spend on themselves. It is the weekend, and I mean, that's a justification that may or may not be true. Raj says, but it's possible for users to click on an older URL on a different day. Absolutely, Raj. Perfect. So whatever is in the UTM tags, that will overwrite everything else. So if the UTM tag says Monday, and if on Sunday you click on it and then make that donation, then we will know in the reports it will show up as Monday donation. So that's the leakage you will have to live with. But the idea here is that it's very less likely, because Facebook is such a fast moving timeline. If I have posted something 2 hours back, it will be lost in the clutter. Forget about posting it yesterday, unless it has become so famous. There are various ways to identify if a Monday content donation is coming on Tuesday, that we can still see in the reports, but in official reports, it will show up as Monday. It will overwrite everything else. So Raj, you know what happens? Not only this, if there is a source called Facebook, and let's say if this particular URL, I share it on Twitter, I copy this and I share it on Twitter with my friends. Guys, click here to buy whatever you are selling. And if people click on the shared URL from Twitter to come on the website and buy my product, it will show Facebook, because the impact that it created initiated from Facebook. It will overwrite even if people are coming from Twitter. Okay, so one final case study I'm going to share with you. After that, I'm going to shut up and you guys are going to tell me whether there are any questions. So there is this one client of mine who wanted to have a print ad. Now, print ad also, we did some print on. Okay, there's a question from Rajesh first. Let's read that. So even if you tag Facebook and post it on Twitter, then Google Analytics will read it as from Facebook only. Yes, Rajesh. You have to be very careful in changing the tags when you're creating your own campaigns. For Twitter, use Twitter. For Facebook, use Facebook. Okay, does it answer? Okay, so one of my clients actually posted, in fact, did a huge campaign in print media, and it was there everywhere, not only on newspapers but also on magazines. We tried a small experiment on print ads. So if you have ever been to a CCD or a barista or a Starbucks, usually on their tables there is a magazine that is only available in that store. It's just like a small mini newspaper. So one of my client is a real estate client, published a full page ad on the back cover with a QR code on it, saying scan this QR code to get 10% off on your current order. So that was a good clickbait or a good scan bait. People started scanning that QR code. Not only they got a 10% off, they actually got onboarded on the website, and that's when all the marketers will do what they will do. Once the user is on the website, you make them do whatever. But that's how they got on the website. How did we use the UTM parameters there in the QR code? That's what I need to talk about now. So let's say the campaign was New Year offer. Here the medium was print ad and the source was magazine. There were other print ads where the source was newspaper. So I'm not talking about that for now. So I'm just deleting that. And the content was very simple. The content was CCD Electronic City in Bangalore. In fact, what we did was later We just named medium as magazine, source as name of the brand, CCD, barista, Starbucks. And within CCD, we placed our ad in Electronic City. With barista, we were in BTM. And with Starbucks, we were in JP Nagar, all over Bangalore. And in fact, within Starbucks, there were many, and so on and so forth. So Starbucks now was not only JP Nagar, but also Jaya Nagar. So if you're not comfortable with these names, they are basically places in Bangalore. Now, this was an ad that was written, that was pasted in a physical newspaper, in a physical store on the table. So how did we connect the offline to online? It was very simple. We again went to URL builder. Our campaign name was New Year Offer. Medium was magazine. Source was, let's say, Starbucks. And my content was JP Nagar. So all I've done is I've just pasted whatever was there in this Excel sheet. This one, magazine Starbucks JP Nagar, and I created a URL. Now I will turn this URL into a sticker, in a QR code sticker. So there are many softwares to generate multiple dynamic QR code sticker. I'll just create one for you now. I'll go to QR code generator. I will put this URL here, whatever URL I've just created. This one, and I will paste it here. And I enter it. Now the QR code that you see on the right hand side is the one that a sticker came out of the machine and I pasted it in that particular store, which is in the code. Now I give you 15 seconds. If your phone does not have a QR code scanner right now, do one thing. Open a browser in your phone and search for QR code scanner. There will be many app links that will come. Don't open any of those apps, it will take time. Just click on any of those URLs that says, scan QR code with webcam, QR code generator, whatever. There are many URLs. Grant access to your webcam and scan the code. Just point your phone towards your screen, in which actually I am sharing the screen. Scan the code. In some websites, it will directly take you to the URL. In some websites, it will first show you the URL for you to click on it. Done it? Super. Any other? I'm hoping people are scanning it, right? I give you 10 more seconds. Scan it from your phone. You will be taken to the website, and we can all imagine that you are coming from Starbucks, right? You are scanning this QR code right now from your screen or from the magazine, the same thing. I'm hoping some of you have scanned it. Now let me go to the reports. Real-time overview. I see that 3 of us are on this page. Let me click on traffic sources. You guys are coming from a medium called magazine, and the source is Starbucks. Now imagine real time. In our dashboard of real estate website, we saw at least 25 rows real time, knowing which of our brands are working, which of our channel partners are working. Is Starbucks working well, or is it CCD working, or is it some other source which is working? Not only that it is coming from Starbucks, it will also tell us which particular Starbucks you guys are coming from, but that information will appear in some time. Hang on. Let me select today's date. It usually is about half an hour to 2 hours late. Look at this, Starbucks. Now in this case, let me also add content, campaign content. And it shows me, guys, Starbucks magazine from a Starbucks store in JP Nagar. Two of you have come. One of you are the new user. And while the information is loading, if on your phone you actually purchase something, it will show me what percentage of money am I making by placing an ad on JP Nagar Starbucks magazine. Isn't that amazing? This is how you connect online to offline. So, but how to keep the QR code on magazine? So that's right, Rajesh. There is a small machine that is for about 15,000 rupees. All right, that is called a small printer for QR code. Almost all of the magazine people have it. So you enter a URL, dynamic URL, and it will start printing stickers for you for dynamic URL. You just have to take the sticker out and paste it separately for each of those magazines. Now, Marine says, but QR code is not popular nowadays. Yes, Marine, it is not. Unless it has a very good incentive to scan. For example, get a 20% off your coffee. People will not scan it. You know what is the next most closest thing within a QR code? They are called vanity URLs. Those small URLs which can be remembered. For example, if I go to Bitly, you know what Bitly is? Bitly is a URL shortener company. So if you go here, okay, let me click on enterprise. It's a paid version where if you see, you can create a very small version of your own brand. Are there any examples? For example, google.com has a URL shortener called GOO.gl. For Facebook, there is something called as facebook.com. For my own website, for my personal brand, I use a URL called saty.am. So these are the vanity URLs that you can create. Branded links. So when I click here, let's see what shows up. Okay, anyways, so you can just create very small URLs. For example, Rajesh URL will become raje.sh/Diwali. So people will remember that as a thing. Now, can we do something with a similar coupon codes? Yes, Sami, you can always do it. But that's now that becomes a complete different study, which is not analytics. But when people sign up as a form, in the form that they are filling before they buy a product, and you will ask them to enter a coupon code that will be visible in your form database. I mean, that has got nothing to do with auto understanding of people coming from a certain this thing until they type something. Now that is now dependent on user intervention. The moment you move it to coupon codes, of course, you can give coupon codes, and you will start to know where people are coming from. A lot of people do it. In fact, there is this. In fact, just yesterday, I was driving, and in front of me, an auto rickshaw guy was riding. And all these auto rickshaw guys have a good banner in the backspace. So there was this company called LiveSpace, LIVSPACE, LiveSpace, which does interior design for these real estate. I mean, for these 2 BHK, 3 BHK houses. Very interesting branding they're doing these days. So it says get some discount by entering the coupon code as auto, AUTO. I'm sure because it's placed on auto, they have put a coupon code as auto. So that eventually when people enter the coupon code, they know that they got to know about us from auto. So these are the ways coupon codes can be used, but they depend on user intervention. It may not help anything in the Google Analytics reports. It will be there in your database. However, with these QR codes and these things will show you directly in the report where people are coming from. And then you can draw inferences through it. Yeah, anyways, so good. I think we have spent good amount of time in last 1.5 hour on how to uh, okay, Rajesh says, so no, if I want to have a QR code in a magazine at Starbucks, one of the outlet, then how to do it? So Rajesh, you reach out to Starbucks corporate office and tell them that we want to place an ad. So therefore, it will print a basic ad for you on all of their newspapers if you pay that money. It will also allow you pasting any sticker that you want to. You have to pay them to do that ad, right? It's not that you can go and start pasting it on their stores. Bloggers asked to use their coupon to avail discount. Does that help in tracking? Yes, Marine, of course. Coupon codes are there to know where people are coming from. Okay, so Marine, one more interesting thing I want to share with you because you asked this question. Are you aware of something called as affiliate marketing? You know what affiliate marketing is? They work on these tags basically. Okay, affiliate marketing basically means that I can sell someone else's product and I get a commission. I'm sure if you have seen those unboxing videos on YouTube of some phones, right? And these guys will say, if you want to buy this phone, click on the link in the description section. So, Sami, that's a partnership between Dell and Intel. I'm talking about something completely different. I'm talking about you can also make money by selling Dell products by affiliate marketing. Let me show you almost all e-commerce companies have affiliate marketing. So this is Flipkart affiliate website. It says make money by creating your own account, and it tells you what commission can you make on books 6 to 12%, ebook 6 to 12%, 5% on mobile, 6% on computers. So what do I do in these affiliates? Basically, I create my own account as an affiliate program and write about some books that I want to sell on my blog, or I create a YouTube unboxing video, or I create a YouTube review of a book and give a hyperlink which has tags. Let me show you. So I wrote this article long time back. 5 great books on branding you must read. And why did I write this article? I actually read all of these books and I gave hyperlinks to buy these books. And they work purely on tags. So if I say 22 immutable laws of branding, buy it for 620 rupees on Flipkart. When I click here, it takes you to a URL where it says 275 rupees. Now look at this. It says AF ID equal to Satyam Gambhir. So this is my URL. Now if somebody purchases here by click on buy now button and pay 275 rupees, I will get 6% commission because I have created an affiliate ID and I'm writing, or maybe I'm creating YouTube videos about the books, or I'm unboxing, I'm doing many things. So a lot of people make money by doing this. Sami says, isn't it influencer marketing then? Me marketing for some other product? Influencer marketing is completely different, Sami. I am not an influencer marketer here. I am just a blogger. But yes, let's say, Sami, the author of this book, let's say Marty Numer, whatever the name is, the brand gap, the author of this book reaches out to the top blogger in the marketing space and says, why don't you review my book, The Brand Gap? Because you have billions of readers. And when you review it, you review me chapter wise. And whenever you talk about on Twitter or on YouTube, you talk about me for about 1 month. And because of the influence that you have in the industry, people will start buying my books. Now, this is just a pure, simple blog that I wrote. Not that I'm an influencer, anyways. And influencer basically means Flipkart or Amazon or the author of the book will reach out to me to promote their brand. I'm an affiliate, I'm a small writer. I'll go design my own products, design my own articles, that means, and give hyperlinks so that I can make money. Raj says, how does the tag stay updated when the price or link changes? Well, this is only an approx price. The product prices may keep changing. The URL will remain the same and prices may change. That will be visible at the page when you go there. If I have to update the prices here, I have to do it manually in my blog. But the URL remains the same for that particular third party site. All right, good. So I think let's take a small pause. It's 11:30. Let's meet at 11 or let's meet at 12 noon sharp. I think that in the last 1.5 hours, you have understood how to identify people by creating the right URL parameters. And this is what you should be doing from now onwards in your business. If you are not doing, if you're not crystal clear with this topic and not doing it further, that means the objective of this session is failed. You must start tagging your URLs. And I hope all of you have understood it. If there is anyone who has not understood it or partially understood it, you can say that now. Happy to spend more time on it. Please show the URL builder screen once, Raj says. Okay, great. This is the URL campaign URL builder screen. Cool. Okay, so let's meet post break. We'll answer any questions that you may have during the break. And then we're going to start a new topic, which will take about an hour or so. And then we will consolidate our learnings. All right, guys. See you until then. Have a good cup of coffee. Don't be late. We begin at 12 sharp, which is 27 minutes from now. Bye bye. Have fun. Hey guys, I hope all of us are back and I'm audible, loud and clear to all of you. All right, great. So one of the last major topics of our workshop is attribution modeling. Such a heavy word, uh, looks complicated, is the easiest of the lot. In fact, every other topic that we have gone through, they were complicated like long back, but I think um, the way the tool has become now, it has become a lot easier. So there is a lot of there's less of thinking needed in terms of arriving at reports, but a lot of thinking is needed today at looking at the stories what they have to offer. So attribution modeling is an extension to the topic that we discussed previously. All right. So I want to quickly jump to the same outreach plan where we had this budget discussion, especially after these numbers were shown. We thought that we will quickly, okay, by the way, the money that is spent in these channels, for example in Twitter, the money goes in CPC or CPM mode. I hope people here understand the meaning of CPC and CPM. Anyone who does not know the meaning of these? Yeah, I'm hoping people here know cost per click and cost per mil. Yeah, cost per thousand impressions. So eventually what happens is when you see out of those $1,000 that you allocated to Twitter, you will observe how Twitter is performing until your $50 is spent, or maybe $30 is spent. And then based on that, let's say after spending $30, your revenue from Twitter is only $10. You will eventually know that Twitter is not the platform that is working. You will start actually pruning those which are not working well and reinvest that money in those platforms which are working well. So that's how reallocation of budget will happen real time by looking at the dashboard. Now look at the funny part. The funniest element here is simply this, that as we learned in the previous before break session, that those mediums and sources which are not working well, you stop doing campaigns there and reinvest that money in those sources and mediums where it is working well. So Raj is saying, so we'll set the budget as $50 and then experiment. Raj, you can do that. But in any of these platforms, you can put a larger amount of money uh, and pause the campaign whenever you need. Only when the campaign is complete, you will be charged for that money. For example, Twitter, Facebook, even Money Control or BBC, you give them your credit card and everything else. Uh, the moment you pause or stop the campaign, with whatever money you have exhausted, you will be charged only that. All the platforms are designed like that. But the question I'm asking here is that one of my client actually did the same. He stopped those places, advertising at those places where my client was not making money, was not getting good returns. The funny part was that when this money was reinvested in those areas where it should have been giving better returns, by doing this reallocation, the returns dropped even further. It was a complete flop idea. Now, isn't that funny? We just saw, and it also sounds logical that if you're not getting returns, then you should stop it and place the money in the places where it is giving us returns. But the moment you start doing that, almost 99% of my clients have complained that the sales have dropped even further. So now a good question is why? Raj is asking, why does this happen? And therefore, we need to quickly understand what attribution modeling says. In fact, even before that, we need to understand this, that to make any sales happen, there is this concept of touch points, Raj. So people who are thinking, why does this happen? It happens because there is a concept where it says that you need to touch your customer minimum 7 times before the customer will start to consider buying your product. Forget about buying. It'll even come in the consideration phase only when you have touched the customer 7 times. Now, what do you mean by touching the customer? Touching doesn't mean physical touching. It means you have to be visible in front of the customer 7 times. For example, I want to buy a house, a 2 BHK, or for example, I want to buy a Hyundai car, or I want to buy a pair of shoes or something like that. So I have to be shown maybe a highway hoarding, then an FM ad, a full page newspaper clipping, or a half page, or an email in my inbox, a ad on a Facebook timeline, and a friend recommending a product to me. So industry average says 7 times. So until that 7 or 5 in some cases, touch point doesn't happen, customer will not start considering you. Now this is the background concept of why the sales dropped. Now look at it this way. Whenever user touches a brand and then immediately decide to buy, and purchases the product from the previous touch point, there is a long history to it. And therefore, imagine a football match. Okay, let's zoom out a little. Let's understand from how team functions. Imagine a football match. I don't know how many of you have played football, but I'm sure you guys have seen football matches. So let's say if you are the referee or if you are the coach of your team, usually what happens is there are two or three strikers which are closer to the opponent's goal. The whole team's job is to pass the ball between each other or amongst each other and ensure the ball reaches the striker at the right time, at the right place, where this person has space to kick the ball in the goal. Now, let's say the ball goes into the goal and the entire team is partying. Who do you share the credit of the goal to? Do you give the credit of the goal to the striker who pushed the ball in the goal? Or do you give the credit of the goal to the person who kicked the ball to the striker? Or will you give the credit to the person who passed the ball to the person who passed the ball to the person who kicked the ball? Or do you give it to everybody, or do you give to everybody equally or somewhat? Or do you include the goalkeeper of your own team or everyone? And Raj says everyone, but does that mean everyone holds equal credit? Or does it 10% lesser to somebody, 20% bigger to somebody else? So now Sami is saying that he will give more credit to the person who passed the ball to the striker. Raj is saying to everyone. Somebody else will say to only those people who participated in passing the ball for that particular goal. Now somebody may say something else because it's your own opinion. Whom do you want to share the credit of the goal to? And that is why this term called attribution modeling. You have to attribute the success of the goal to somebody. So therefore the word attribution modeling. And why is it called modeling? Because different people have different models. Raj says everyone should be included in the model. Sami says only the last few people who kick the ball should be the part of the model. And now Aditya is saying some weightage should be given to people. Right? So there are various models based on what you believe is the right way of modeling it. Let's look at it differently. In fact, not differently, but let's look at this Excel sheet kind of a thing. There are 4 sales that have happened until now on your website, let's say since morning, which means for user 1, the journey started on social media. Then the user thought, okay, I will decide to buy it later. Then searched for something and then organically the same link appeared on top. Then an email came in the inbox. And then finally by clicking on a Google ad, the user decided to purchase. Similarly, for some other user, some other journey would have worked. For some other user, some other journey would have worked. And maybe there are various numerous journeys with which sometimes you don't even know how is the purchase happening. Google Analytics can tell you all of this. All of these journeys can be shown to you. How is it that the user is reaching the purchase phase? With whatever we have learned in the first half of the session, all of this is considered. If somebody comes from an email, the credit goes to an email. If somebody comes from organic, the credit goes to organic. Somebody comes from a Google ad, all the credit of the goal or of the purchase goes to that particular last touch point, which are called converting channels. And all the rest of the players in the football field are called assisting players or assisting channels. Now look at the sales that have happened in these 4 cycles. Looks like Google AdWords have done 50% of your sale. Email has done 25%, organic has done 25%, but social media is nowhere in the converting channels. Right? Do you see this? There is nowhere in social media is not here. But if you focus, social media has played a amazing assisting role in all four sales. If we were to believe what we learned in the previous before break session, we will say social media is not giving us any sales. So let's stop investing in social media as a channel. Let's take that money out and start spending more in Google Ads, more in email, and do some SEO activities, as social media is not playing a role. It is quite evident because it's not a converting channel. But you never saw it like a football match. You never saw it like an assisting channel. And the moment you take social media investments out, Google Ads, emails, and organic will stop converting because the the nurturing of the customer has not happened enough for the other converting channels to actually convert. And therefore, attribution modeling helps us in giving or ascertaining or giving some attribution to social media also. So in this model, so one is this Excel sheet kind of model. Just keep in mind this particular sheet. And the other model is this model, where you believe that if something is not working well, you completely wipe it off. But in this model, it says no, maybe they are assisting. An attribution model gives you that ability to understand what is the monetary contribution of social media as an assisting channel, if not a converting channel. And let's begin this journey. I think it will take about half an hour or so for us to understand various attribution models. So I want your attention here. Let's look at it in a story way. It's a very nicely written story, and I'm sure all of us will be able to relate to this story. It says a customer finds your site by clicking on one of your AdWords ads. She returns 1 week later by clicking over from a social network site. That same day, she comes back a third time via one of your email campaigns, and a few hours later, she returns again directly and makes a purchase. Now, this is like everybody's story. This is how sales actually happen. Now, there are various models available in which you can attribute the credit of the sales to four channels being discussed here: direct, email, social network, and AdWords. For focus on the blue underlined words. The first model is the last interaction attribution model, which is the default model also. A lot of marketers don't even know that these models exist, so therefore the default applies. It says in this case, the last touch point, the direct channel would receive 100% of the credit of the sale. Very easy, the default model. People who know about attribution modeling, they never use this because it is not the appropriate way of assessing any channel. The second model is the last non-direct click attribution model. All the direct traffic is ignored and 100% of the credit of the sale goes to the last channel that the customer interacted with before converting. In this case, email. Now, in what cases do you use this? So there is another observation here on the basis of which this model is used. That observation says if a customer is coming directly to your website to purchase, that means the decision to purchase has been made previously, have been made already. So let's say before you would have decided to buy digital with your digital marketing program, you would have actually made up a decision in your previous touch point with digital vidya. Then probably you made up your mind, decided where will I make the payment from, and then directly go to digitalvidya.com and pay. So the decision where it is made is the decision happened before the last touch point. In this case, last non-direct click attribution model, you use that. If $100 worth of sale has happened, it will not go to the direct channel, it will go to the email channel. The other model is the last AdWords click attribution model, which says if AdWords have played any role throughout the sales cycle, all the credit will go and accumulate under AdWords. Now this is a very funny model. Nobody uses it, but this is basically one of my clients used it once and a very funny way of using it. So my client, who was a marketing head, said that I have spent a lot of money on AdWords. I need to justify it to my team. Why did I spend so much of money? So he selected this model. All the sales that happened actually went and credited to AdWords ads, and he could, justify his expense on the AdWords. So otherwise, it's of no use. Or unless everything else in your marketing space is organic and you're spending only and only an AdWords ad, you can then select this model. You will know the impact of AdWords ads. All right. The last one, or the fourth one, is the first interaction attribution model. In this case, the first player who kicked the ball into the field, or who got the customer in touch with the brand for the very first time, gets the credit of the sale. What kind of organizations uses this model? Mostly non-profit organizations where there is no commercial angle uses this particular model. When I say non-commercial angle, but there is a very heavy awareness model. For example, Aircel did Save the Tiger campaign. I mean, as a customer, I don't even know how do I save the tiger. I mean, I'm sitting in a city, the tigers are not here, so how do I save the tiger? But there is still a call to action on their website. Click here, take a pledge to save the tiger. I mean, what stupidity that was. But still, the awareness was there that as a company, Aircel is trying to do its bit. So therefore, or for example, Swachh Bharat, this thing. I don't know what you can do with Swachh Bharat online, but the mere awareness is what is needed in terms of measuring the impact of the campaign. And therefore, the first interaction attribution model is used for those companies where awareness is more important than conversion. Raj says, does Google Analytics show the entire journey for one user, even if they come from various devices? Raj, the answer to your question is partially yes. So Google Analytics shows the entire journey, which is most taken by many users, as opposed to for that one user. Anything, Raj, that is personally identifiable for an individual, for one user, will never be shown. It will show you the most active journeys and the least active journeys and the average journeys. Give me about 10 minutes. After looking at all of these models, I will jump to that screen for you. Then there is the linear attribution model, where, like one of our friends said, Raj said everybody should get equal credit of the goal in the team. In the linear attribution model, it says if 100 rupees worth of sale has happened, in these four, everybody should get 25 rupees of credit each, that they contributed equally. Not many of my clients use this because while everybody participated, not everybody pushed in a certain direction. I mean, they did push, but the impact was not equal. And how is the impact known? Impact is known by these red color or these maroon color words on how quickly was somebody taking an action. 1 week later, that same day, a few hours, and so on and so forth. And therefore, now look at the time decay attribution model, which is what 50-60% of my clients use. It says the touch point closest in the time to the sale or conversion gets most of the credit. Now you can define that yourself, because if you look at the first interaction happened 1 week back, then happened the same day, and then few hours earlier, and then the purchase happened. In time decay model, direct and email sale here would receive the most credit because the customer interacted with them within few hours of conversion. The social network and AdWords happened before, so they will receive the less credit. And the last model is the position based model, in which 40% credit is given equally. 40% each is given to the first and the last. It says the first interaction and the last conversion is important, and 20% is equally divided into all mid interactions. You can change the percentage yourself. Now, all of this is fine. This is all theory. Let me show you directly where it happens. So let me first go to multi-channel funnels. Let's look at overview. Okay, this is only for today. Okay, so let's go to a data which all of us have access to. Let's go to demo account of Google Merchandise Store, which you also have. And let's look at some data here in the last few months from 1st December to 3rd June. So many sales have happened. Now look at this. This is a Venn diagram. Now there are people, while 57% of people who bought, direct channel had a role to play. For 27%, organic had a role to play. For 41%, referral had a role to play. But if you combine all three, direct, referral, and organic, 2% of the sales, or approximately 2007 or maybe 2800 people who purchased on the website, direct, referral, and organic, all three touch points were explored. Only then sale could have happened. You can increase the this thing and create more Venn diagrams to see what was the role of others. But more interesting sheet is this one. So let me click on top conversion paths. Look at this. Referral and then direct. Look at the number of sales. 2 times direct, organic search and direct, 3 times direct, referral and then 2 times direct. So Raj, it shows you the journeys. But these journeys are also looks very short. The journey could have been longer. Why is it showing such a short journey? Because it has a look back window here. It says that any interaction that would have happened with the user on and the website 30 days back, only that will be considered. You can change this from 30 days to, let's say, 75 days. The higher the transaction value on your website, the larger number of days you should select. Because let's say to make a decision of buying a house which is worth 1 crore, people would need at least 3 months to 6 months, but the maximum back in time that you can go is 90 days. So if you go back in 90 days, you see sometimes this thing completely changes. So this is what it shows your channel path. You can click on source path also here. It will show you what all are the sources, the names of the websites. Mediums are, the mediums, the social network slash organic slash referral, or you can choose default, the many channel groupings that some default has been done, which is exactly the same. Now coming to attribution modeling. So Raj, that I hope that answers your question on the journeys, this thing. Can we see devices? See, what we can do is we can segment this data. Hopefully, let's see if we can. I need to explore it myself. No, I think device combination is not here. But if you want to see from which device what sales have happened, there is a different report for that. Hang on, let me see where it is. Mobile overview. Here you can see desktop, mobile, tablet, and individual sales. You can actually click on devices and see from what device are you getting the maximum sales, including the name of the phone. Apple iPhone, iPad, Google Pixel, Nexus 5X, Spice, Acer, Google Pixel, and you can increase the number of rows and see what all devices are being used to do the sales. Now I need to check, Raj, on which device what journey was taken, because journeys are independent of devices. So if that is possible, I need to check. I have never done that before. But yes, I can see, I can add a secondary dimension of campaign. So for which device, what particular campaign worked, I can see that. Okay, this is taking long. Okay, look at this. So there was this campaign. Let's pick up one campaign. called GDN remarketing campaign. On Apple iPhone, this is what you have received. In fact, let me just search for that particular campaign. Okay, so there was this campaign called Value Shoppers Affinity, and it shows you from device wise Amazon Fire TV Stick, Alcatel, Apple iPad Air 2. So it shows you campaign wise. So how did your campaign perform for particular devices can be shown here. And I think I will also do some more study. Uh, a lot of things are possible with secondary dimension and adding segments on top. So you can add a segment here on top and say, I want to see only and only, let's say, tablet traffic. Select it and apply. Everything else will be ignored. Only tablet traffic will be showed here. So you can do that device segmentation also. I think it is huge data, so it is taking that long to compute. And you see a progress bar here. So see now that only the devices people will come show up here. Okay, I think this is getting hanged because of such large data. Now look at this. Now you will see all users for that particular this thing versus tablet traffic. All users, tablet traffic. All users, tablet traffic. And if this particular thing is not a tablet, of course it will show you 0. So all of these things are possible. And you can export all of them in an Excel sheet and then do further analysis. You can see an export button here on top. So you can use that. Okay, this sometimes takes longer than Excel sheet because it's an online call that is making to the server. It's better once you export in an Excel sheet, everything becomes much simpler. Okay, so now coming to attribution modeling, which we discussed about like a football match. So we can come to model comparison tool. So when I click on model comparison tool, look at what the screen comes first. Now this.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I thought this is the last session, so I might as well unmute myself and speak. So we talked about the attribution model and how, but I didn't understand how the user journey is actually tracked. For example, I'm on a social media. I come across an ad by University of Commons, for example, a campaign. I don't click through that ad. I've just viewed it. It's an impression. And then obviously it's on, I mean, the brand awareness has initiated. And how, I mean, then on, maybe I do an organic search. I do the keywords, maybe an ad comes up, for example, even an advert comes up, and I go through, click it, and proceed further with any registration. Or, I mean, I just don't understand how do we track this user journey through different channels? Because, I mean, I do understand at least through email, maybe you have a tag attached to it, but how does it happen through other channels?
Okay, good question. Thank you so much. May I know your name, please? Sorry, I missed it.
My name is Maureen.
Oh, Marine. Okay, all right. So, Marine, one thing is very clear in this, that an impression will not show up in your journey. And what all things then will then show up? The actual interaction with the website. If let's say organic search result comes, you click on it to come on the website, or a Google AdWords, you click on it, or an email, you click on it to come on the website, that will be measured as an engagement. Because the most fundamental need for a report to be generated here in the journey is that Google Analytics tracking code in the header should be executed. If you have just viewed an ad on Facebook and not clicked on it, if you've just viewed an impression somewhere, all of that data will be available in Facebook ad or Facebook Insights or Google AdWords or any other advertisement. That tool that you are using will show you the number of impressions that happened and number of clicks that happened. However, if the user has not clicked on it such that on the website the tracking code would have executed, you will not show up in the reports until then. The second part of the question was that while in email you can add a tag, while you can add a tag on third-party websites where you're placing an ad, you're not adding a tag on Google organic search results. So how does it happen? So that is the primary reason I started the session of this by saying that Google Analytics will automatically understand the tags when the user is coming from organic search results, referral, and direct. If you're using Google AdWords by default attach tags, even if you don't want it to be attached. So AdWords attaches it for you, and when you are reading an AdWords report, it tells you what all keywords were searched for when your link appeared on top and the user clicked on it. So those keywords are automatically appended when you click on it. With organic also, until 2013, let me show you that report. Acquisition, search console or all traffic. When I click on source and medium, let's click on organic. So when I say organic search, we received approximately 1,87,000 users. But can I know what these people searched for? So when I click on organic search, until the new privacy policy in 2014 came, all of those keywords were visible. So I could actually see for what particular keywords am I ranking well or not. You see a large 96% says not provided because they are now hidden. But there are certain keywords or certain items which were searched on Google. If not on Google, they were searched on any non-Google platform which they cannot protect. For example, if somebody is searching for Google t-shirt, 33 users were such. This keyword search attaches itself as a tag on non-Google platforms. For example, if somebody is searching in Internet Explorer or using a Safari and using it on Bing or Yahoo. So these are then captured because according to Google's privacy policy, they have stopped giving search results from 2014 onwards. So I repeat, the impressions are not counted in your journey in Google Analytics, but you will get that report in the specific tool you are using to advertise, like Facebook Insights, like Twitter Insights, like YouTube ads, or even Google AdWords, or any fifth or sixth or 10th tool. You will see that information there. For the second answer of what all tags or how does the tag or the journey maps when somebody is not attaching tags on platforms where you cannot, because Google organic search results, you cannot add tags. So Google was giving you those tags already from these, but after 2014, they have stopped giving you those tags. I don't know whether I've answered your question, Mary. Any other questions?
Yes, thank you. But I just wanted to, I mean, the last thing, like as an, like if I'm like, for example, applying for a role of analytics role per se, I will be looking at, I mean, you know more because you're from the same industry, and it would be only Google Analytics, but do you also correlate your reports with individual tools as well, I believe, like Facebook and all. So I mean, how does that happen? I'm not sure. That's a longer. I mean, that's more of will be in depth and will not be part of the course right now. But just give an understanding, or if there is any reading material you can give. For example, right now I'm just looking at a myopic approach only to Google Analytics. But when we run campaigns and all these considerations do play a part, and we have to correlate. Data reports from different tools that we're using, Facebook or whatever they are. How does that work? I mean, if you could just give, I mean, touch upon it, or even if offline, you can just send reading materials so we can just go through it. So that, I mean, if I tomorrow, because I do want to get into it, and I had a word with somebody who had a list role, and they were like, oh, it's a course, you're just doing a course, you haven't, practically executed, we can't consider you. So at least I can go back to them and say that, hey, I know a lot more than maybe you may expect me to know.
Sure, Mary, we will not just touch upon it. Thank you for this question. We'll take some time to answer this question. Thank you so much. See, correlations will come on what individual wants to achieve. I'll give you some examples though, so that you know how the correlations can happen. So, for example, uh, one Facebook ad that you are running, and through that ad, you are getting clicks to your website where you are selling something. So, you want to correlate right from the ad that you created and the number of impressions on Facebook versus the number of clicks that Facebook tells you we have given you. For example, okay, let me do this way. Usually, people follow this journey. So, they start from impressions to number of clicks on the platform, on the ad platform, Facebook is being one of them. Then the number of users slash sessions, I would say rather sessions, received on website. Then we have the number of uh, sessions where purchase happened. So let's say now there is a correlation between a platform that here until here is Facebook, and from here is on our own owned platform, my website. So is there a correlation, and can I find out what worked well, what not? So I'll give you an example. So from Facebook, let's say you've had 100 impressions or 1,000 impressions. Out of those 1,000 impressions, let's say 100 clicked. The 900 did not, but this 900, as you said, is the visibility of your brand, where you've created the awareness, which is very tricky sometimes because not every time everybody viewed your page when they turn a magazine or even when they scroll down a Facebook timeline, it would mean anything about your brand. Next, they also may also tell you that of these 900 impressions, how long these impressions were. Were they a fraction of a second to a 10-second to a minute? So that may tell you the awareness of the brand. The sessions that the websites have received are probably 80. Now, this is the correlation which most analysts, are worried about. While Facebook is telling me 100 clicks have come on my ad, why is it that only 80 were received on my website? Where did 20 people go? Right? And out of these 80, maybe let's say 10 will purchase. So this is the correlation you will be able to make only and only when you're using Google Analytics with tagged URLs, so that you can compare the ad that you're running on Facebook versus with the URLs or the clicks you have received in the tagged URL, which is 80. Now the next question that comes is, where does this 20 people go? This is a question that is always there with marketers, and they cannot correlate between the two. Now this happens with impatient users, or this also happens with very slow internet connectivity or lost interest of the user. So for example, I may go on a website or Facebook. Okay, let me click on an ad. Let's say I click on an ad here which says Monte Carlo Spring Collection, shop now. The moment I click here, it means that I'm interested, but even before it loads, I cancel it. So now what happened is that a click is counted at the NDTV platform, and it tells me that one user, we have given it to you. On the other hand, I did not give enough time on your montecarlo.com website for the Google Analytics code to be loaded, and hence the leakage. A user drops down. Sometimes it happens that you're using it on a mobile phone where it opens up in a new tab which only loads when I activate that tab in mobile phones. Generally, it happens that way. So while I click on an ad, I could have never opened that tab for it to load. So that times that leakage is there. Or sometimes the internet connectivity is slow. So these are some of the correlations. As an example, I'm sharing it with you. The same thing you can do it with Twitter, same thing you can do with Facebook. And if your website has an ability to create a user ID and password, though in fact these days it is not required, especially uh, when we discussed about user explorer. It tells you how one user has been interacting with your website. So for example, if I click on this particular client ID, which can be a unique number, so it tells you how did you acquire this user. It says the channel is direct. It could have shown channel is social media, And you could have had uh, this correlation here with how many users or how many sessions have you attracted via which device category, which device platform, and which particular social network. All of this can be exported in an Excel sheet and correlated. And I agree with you, Marine, that when somebody or an employer says, oh, you're just doing a course, you have not actually practiced it, they're not wrong at all. Because all the case studies that I've been sharing with you, or all the practice that you've been doing, are all in a controlled environment. So therefore, I would say even before you apply for a job, offer your internship services or offer your learning or your experience for free to an organization for about a month or so before you could claim that you know what you are saying, you know it properly. And the other thing is that nobody I know of in the digital marketing industry is doing a pure web analyst role. It's more of a, so knowing web analytics completely can be a game changer if everything else equals between two different applicants for a job. So if you're an amazing social media guy, or if you're an amazing, let's say, email marketer, you're amazing, whatever, digital marketer, saying that, hey, I have complete understanding of web analytics because that is what completes the entire loop. It gives you a complete diagnostic report of what your marketing team is doing. It's a game changer then. If you are an analyst, you are definitely not a pure Google Analytics analyst or even web analyst. You have to play game across the tools, not only Google Analytics or Adobe or different tools within web, but also others. So I would say your employer is absolutely right, or a potential employer. I would say do an internship, or you can reach out to me. There are many opportunities that I keep getting for which I keep taking interns. Sometimes I reach out to digital with their team and I send across open opportunities, also paid opportunities. If you want to gain experience, I can share with you an assignment which is running assignment with my client. Join the team, gain experience, and create it as a project report. It will help improve your portfolio and confidence. Marine, I hope uh, there was something which got answered and some things which were not. Marine says that will be great. Thanks. Can I do that remotely? Yes, absolutely. So I'm just sharing with you. We were asked not to share the email IDs though from digital with their team. So what I will do is I usually will tweet next time, or I will reach out to digital with their team, and they can send an email across to those people who are interested in doing some project work remotely. It can be pretty much done remotely. Are you on LinkedIn? Oh, yes, I'm on LinkedIn. You can search by my name, and then we can definitely work together on that. It will definitely help you, Marine, when you're looking for a job. Of course, may or may not. All right, so there was a question. Did I miss that? Yeah, can we export all of this data in Excel sheet? Not all of this data, but wherever possible. So on every report that you click on the top, you will see an export button. You click on export and you can directly take it into Excel sheet, CV, Google Sheets, or yeah, CSV or PDF. All right, so coming to attribution modeling, guys, not much uh, to be discussed there though. Just one final topic. Right now, the default model for last 90-day look back window is last interaction model. So you see here, what is the role of each of the channel and what is the money they've been contributing to, or the number of sales. Now, for some of the sales, they have had some dollar value. So therefore, we can at this moment ignore the dollar value here. Just look at the number of sales. Now, let's say, according to my model or according to my understanding, I believe last interaction model is not the appropriate model. For example, Raj said, I want to give equal credit to all the channels that played any role. Or let's say, according to me, time decay is the best model. So let me compare the two. I will select time decay model and let's see what it says. It says that you thought that 51% of your conversions are coming from direct channel, but according to the new model, it's only 46%. You are overvaluing this channel by 10%. Look at referral. It says you were thinking 24% of your sales are coming from referral, but in actual 27.1%. It's much larger, which means that you are undervaluing this particular channel by 11%. The least you can do now as an organization or as a marketing team is start paying more attention to affiliate marketing because you are getting referral sales more than what you thought. Look at organic. You thought it's giving you 18% of the sales, is actually giving you 10% more, 20%. Social network and so on and so forth. Looks like your direct channel is not uh, as exciting as it used to be when you thought of the last interaction model. So the minimum you can do is now in this particular Excel sheet kind of a report, it accounts for channels assisting role. So in the time decay model, if social network has also played a assisting role, that value shows up here and therefore it is 2% valued higher. In direct role, it is actually valued 10% lower. So therefore, the minimum as a marketing team you can do is reallocate your budget based on this sheet because now they have considered the assisting role also. Now let's say the final thing, and probably after this I will open the house for questions and then close it. What if you want to create your own model? There are various models that we studied now: last interaction, non-direct, first interaction, linear, position based. You can create your own model. You can actually import from gallery. So import from gallery is very exciting. So you don't know what works in your industry the best. So just like you have a Google Play or an Apple App Store where there are millions of engineers designing applications and you one click download the application, in a similar fashion, when you click on gallery, it will show you various models that digital marketers in this world are using. And based on which industry, e-commerce, you want to check engagement, you want to check acquisition and anything else, or organic search. Let's say we are seeing all category. So there is this model called Avinash's market motive mind-blowing model. People have rated it 4-star. It's done by somebody called Loves Data. It says Avinash Kaushik wrote an article last year about attribution modeling using Google Analytics. So probably somebody has read his article and created a model. We'll just click on import. It's as easy as that. When I click on import, it will ask me which particular view do you want to apply it to. Let's say I apply it to master view and change the name of this model to Mehrin's model. Let's say, and I create it. Now this is the model that will now show up in my drop down for comparison. First, if you want to edit it, you can. So by default, this model is position based, where the first interaction he has given 10% to first, 40% to last, and 50% to middle interaction. But I think 75 days is not enough. I'll move it to 90. I can edit this and I can eventually save it. So once I save it, this is the model that will show up in my model comparison tools. And I can now compare last interaction with my new model that I've just downloaded and then see the impact of the new model. So this gallery helps a lot in terms of understanding what is the most famous model out there. or probably you create your own by clicking on custom model, and quite simple. So I would say now it's almost 10 minutes to 1 now. In the last 4 Sundays, guys, let's zoom out now. We've done too much of detailing. Let's zoom out. We started with understanding the basic concepts and philosophies of why do we analyze and how analytics brings incremental improvements in our businesses. We moved on to the basic keywords that every analyst or digital marketer should know. We spoke about all of these words, including bounce rate and cookies and whatnot, sessions and users and page views. In the second session, we learned about a very, very important topic called digital marketing measurement model. We saw some examples. We started creating our own configuration boxes, like we started creating filters, we started putting goals, and only when we put goals, all of these revenue figures started coming in. We also spoke about the admin section of it on how account, property, and view are connected. We also spoke about all of these four audience. Okay, we haven't spoken much about uh, behavior. It's actually something which you may not need a trainer for, but let me just go through it quickly. When you click on site content, it shows you what all pages are the most viewed ones and what is the page value of each, what is the bounce rate of each, what are the landing pages. Landing pages basically means the first page a user interacts with while coming to your website. Content drill down basically means the categories of products. So if somebody likes shoes category, somebody likes, um, you know, for example, in an NTTV, people like sports, politics, education, and so on and so forth. That is the content drill down that you can look at. You can have exit pages where people are exiting. It also gives you some technical information about how quick your site is to load. So an average time to load a particular page on your website is 4.5 seconds, which is not that bad. Anything less than 4 seconds is good actually. Anything more than 5 is not considered good. So it tells you on about 29th May, your average page load time went up to 8 seconds. You can go to speed suggestions. It will give you what all things you should do to basically improve your page load time or to decrease your page load time, give you suggestions. So for example, each page, let's say store.html, takes about 4.5 seconds to load. When you click on 8 total, it will give you 8 suggestions on how to improve the time. So it is analyzing your score. It will give you a score on 100 for desktop and for mobile. Okay, for desktop, it gave you 61 on 100. So of course you have to improve it. And then for mobile, it gives you very low score, 41 on 100. Scroll down, it shows optimization suggestions, reduce server response time, how to fix. Click on this, eliminate render blocking JavaScript. Just share all of these details with your website developer. Will eventually start fixing all of these issues and your page load time will decrease. And you can do it page by page. For each page, it is giving you how many suggestions. Look at this. And every page has a score. So all of this is very simple, automatic. If you have a custom search site, I mean search tab in your website, it automatically shows you what are people typing, and so on and so forth. If any third party is publishing a page on your website directly, which doesn't, none of my clients use it. It is for multi-author websites. So essentially, we learned about who these audience are who come on my site. How do I acquire them? What content do they like reading, and for how long do they stick on a certain web page, and whether they buy things that I want them to buy. By no means in the last 4 Sundays we have anywhere mentioned that we have become experts of Google Analytics or any other analytics tools. But I am more than confident that we are in the right position to have enough confidence to start exploring. By no means somebody can teach you a tool or a concept in 4 Sundays, despite you practicing how much ever. It will take its own time and the concept will grow upon you. It's like learning to drive a car. Of course, the first thing is to hold the steering and then learn about the clutch, brake, and accelerator. Eventually, you will learn there is a dashboard. Eventually, you will learn there's a good music player. Eventually, you will learn other features of the car. You also have a wiper, which will help you in your rainy days. You also have a fog light. You also have this feature and that feature. You will discover it only when you are driving, right? So this is the tool that will put you on track. You can start driving. And in the third session, we spoke about the reports. In the fourth session, that is today, we spoke at length about campaign tagging and measuring returns, including monetary returns from each particular source and medium. And we end with attribution modeling. So we've covered almost 60-70% of the topics in details. 10% from just from surface, and 20% we have not even touched, keeping in mind that whenever you will you touch upon those topics, you will feel like, hey, I know them already because it's just another feature. I hope that I have not wasted your 4 Sundays, and I hope that you have learned something in the last 4 Sundays. You are a better digital marketer now, and I would leave you with the feedback link in the chat window. This is the only thing I want from you now, is to spend about 5 to 7 minutes, click on this URL, and give us feedback, because this feedback will now go on digital with their website for other people trying to or exploring this program, whether they should be doing a web analytics course or not. If you did not like it, say you did not like it. If you loved it, say you loved it. The detailed the feedback, the better it is for the future aspirants. So house is now open for questions. House is now open for you guys can leave. And if you, and by the way, let me tell you, this feels like the last session. It has never happened that I've never met my participants before. I keep meeting them. It's a small industry. Sometimes I approach them as a customer. Sometimes they approach me as a customer, or sometimes as colleagues. All right, that says the last 4 Sundays were great, and I was looking forward for the class. Web analytics classes put things in perspective. My pleasure, Raj. If that is the feeling, then I think the objective is achieved. Any questions, any feedback, any comments, any reactions? I'm here to listen to your feedback or questions. If you have no questions, then I would say thank you. Bye bye. It was lovely interacting with you. We will definitely meet each other sometime soon. And if you're in Bangalore, please tweet or ping. We can definitely catch up. Sure, Shami, why not? Let's catch up. Aditya says just one question. Yes, Aditya, go ahead. For others who want to leave, may leave and have a good lunch, but do not forget to give feedback. Aditya says, can you show the tagging for referrals? Referrals, as in Aditya, you mean that if you are writing for a third party website, how do you give tags to that third party? Or if you are writing or you are asking somebody to write about you, then what tags to give? Very nice, good question. So what do you do now? Go to Google URL Builder So let's say you have this website called adityasharma.com, and you are asking Digital Vidya team to write about your blog. Okay, so let's say the campaign source will become Digital Vidya. That's all. Nothing else is mandatory. What you will do now is that you will take this URL and you will ask Digital Vidya team that, hey guys, if you're writing about my website called adityasharma.com, just don't directly use adityasharma.com. Use this one. So that when people come from digitalvidya.com to your site, you will see they're being referred by Digital Vidya. Or later on, you're asking people to write about you, or if people have already written about you, you can always ask them to change this. You can change the source from Digital Vidya to, let's say, satyam.com. If I am writing about you, usually the best practices say that if I, as a blogger, I'm writing about any other blogger or any other website, I will do it automatically so that the recipient blogger gets to know in their analytics dashboard that I've been writing about them. If you do not do this, Aditya, if you do not do this, still nothing changes. Because if you remember, I spoke about that for organic, referral, and direct, you will still automatically get the name of the website which is referring you traffic. So even if Digital Vidya writes about you, you will see Digital Vidya has written about you and it is transferring you some traffic. It's just that writing uh, a UTM parameter makes it 100% accurate. Does that answer your question, Aditya? I hope so. Okay, and for affiliate marketing, it will change, right? Yes, Aditya, for affiliate marketing, you have to create an account with an organization. For example, you will go to Amazon, you will sign up by entering your credit card details and your account details. Then they will give you a URL that for every sale that you're doing, append this URL to our product. So that when anybody goes via that long URL which has your affiliate ID, the money can directly go to your bank account. So you don't start doing it by yourself. You first create an account with them so that they give you a specific ID for your product that you publish. That's a more controlled environment, Aditya. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. It was lovely interacting with you guys. Thanks a lot for such wonderful questions. I repeat, do not forget to give feedback. It's very, very important for us. It is our bread and butter. See you guys. Until next time we meet. Uh, Sami says, thank you, Mr. Satyam. Very good session. Thank you, Sami. Last question about Omniture. Okay. Yes, Marine. What about it? Yeah, Marine. So if you are comfortable with Google Analytics, Omniture is very, very simple. The interface will be very different. Not very actually, some different. And I'll tell you the maximum or the biggest difference between the two is basically about the secondary and tertiary dimension. So for example, I'll give you one big difference between the two. For example, if I go to geography location, you have a first dimension called country. I can add a secondary dimension called gender. So I will know which country, what gender is coming from. After that, I don't have the ability to add the third and the fourth and the fifth dimension. So for example, from United States, I know males are coming in large numbers, but I don't know what age bracket they are coming from. So if I want to add a tertiary dimension, the third dimension or the fourth dimension, I want to do United States, males, age bracket, and then city name and then interests. All of this is possible in Omniture. In Google Analytics pre version, it is not, and that makes Omniture a much more richer tool. just because of the dimensions you can add in the same report. Overall, nothing much is different. Some capabilities are more, some are less. It's a very expensive tool, Omniture. Okay. Thank you, Marine. Thanks a lot. Any other question, guys? Yes, Aditya, you reach out to Digital Vidya. And next time, if I have any open, then I will share it with Digital Vidya as well. Thank you. Any more questions, guys? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Have fun and loved interacting with you guys. I repeat, don't miss the feedback. See you guys. Bye bye. Yes, Aditya, any resources are definitely mentioned in your learning management system, in your LMS. All those links are offered within that platform. See you guys. Bye bye. Have fun. Enjoy your future modules.